Hello everybody and welcome back to the Beilein To Victory Podcast, Episode 9. I apologize for being a day late. I had other obligations I needed to attend to yesterday, but we'll just play it as if it was a day late. So I'll have the episode today and I'll have the interview tomorrow with Illinois fan. Should be interesting after seeing what happened today. We'll get right into it. A lot to cover today. We're going to recap the game at Iowa for Michigan, and we'll go over the game against Illinois today. Then I'm going to take you through why I think Michigan is the number one team in the country for basketball, of course. And then I have a few comments for the competitor podcast, and we'll throw in at the end who I believe is going to win the college football playoff on Monday. So we'll start with this game at Iowa. I was very impressed, very impressed by this team. I think it was a great game as a team, and you could clearly see that by how their leading scorers, they had two guys at 15 points. Nobody really had that big game, bailed them out. Abdur-Rahman had 15 points, led them in scoring, and it was a phenomenal team win. It really was, and Xavier Simpson played well too. I think he had 15 as well. And Isaiah Livers started to get hot in that game and carried into the Illinois game today. Was really impressed. It's a tough place to play in Iowa. We haven't won there in a while, and it hasn't been pretty when we go there. But we turned that around. It was a good win, and it was a real team win, and we dominated them the whole game. And it was obvious. It was a great win. Very surprised that they came out and played that well, and I was very happy. But then we go into today against Illinois, and I think they took a step back today. Obviously, they're better than this team. Illinois is not good, and they're probably the worst team in the Big Ten. It's not good. And Michigan laid down for the first half today. They came out in the second half. They played hard, and they blew them out in the second half. It was no competition at all. Wagner had 14. I thought it was another good... Offensively, it was another good team game, but that team should not be scoring 70 points on Michigan. It's Illinois. That should not happen. But I think they took a little bit of a step back today. But I was impressed how they played in the second half. I'm be interested to see how they go into next week against Purdue, which I think is a very winnable game. It's at home. The Chrysler Center will be rocking. Tell you what, it'll be rocking. I think they win that game. And I'm actually picking them to go into MSU and win. Just because it's their rival. They beat them quite a bit. So that ought to be interesting as well. Hopefully I can get a win there. And that'd be great. So I can just rub that into all the Michigan State fans around. So I'm going to take you through how Michigan is the best team in the country. But let's just start here. Let's get them into the top 5 first. So today, Providence beat number 5 Xavier. I was in attendance for that game. It was wow. I mean, I was stunned. I wasn't expecting that. It was crazy. Marquette then beat Providence, and you get right from there. You get right into the SEC. Georgia over Marquette, and then here's your bridge right here. Kentucky over Georgia, and you go right from there to UCLA, who beat Kentucky, who Michigan beat, which makes Michigan a top 5 team. Right there. Makes Michigan a top 5 team. No doubt about it. So why are they the number 1 team in the country? For this reason. We'll start in Boston. Boston College beat Duke. Number 2 team. Clemson beat Boston College. Temple then goes out and beats an ACC team, Clemson. There's your bridge to the SEC. Georgia over Temple, and there's that team again. Kentucky over Georgia. UCLA over Kentucky. Michigan beat UCLA, makes them better than Duke at that point, and Duke beat Michigan State, who's the number 1 team in the country, which clearly means Michigan is the best team in the country. You cannot argue with this logic. There's probably going to be some angry Michigan State fans that come on here, but you really can't argue with this logic, and this is perfect logic right here. You can't argue with this. No, can't argue with it at all. So before I make my pick for the college football playoff, I have a couple words for my competitor podcast. He recently released a video with almost 1,000 views. By far his high. Because he named it Recap to the Outback Bowl. Just to viewers out there, I'm going to be naming them different. So if you search them up, they might be different a little bit. I'll still have the Beilein To Victory in the name. But I got to catch up with his views, so I got to use his strategy to do that. And what I got to say to him is we'll see. I mean, let the best man win, because we're going to see it now after we start naming him, after actually what we talk about. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. That's going to do it. But before we go, I do want to make my pick for the college football playoff on Monday, Alabama and Georgia. I think this will be a close game. Two conference teams. Kirby Smart is a disciple of Saban. I think Alabama does win the game. I think it'll be pretty low scoring. 21-17 Alabama. It's my pick. They might have a game-winning drive at the end of the game, is what I was really thinking. They might go down and win the game at the end. Hurts is a big game quarterback. Saban's a big game coach, and I don't think they're going to allow themselves to lose after nearly being snubbed from the playoff, and now Saban's going to go up against another one of his disciples, and I just don't think it's going to happen. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, click the subscribe button, and we will see you tomorrow with Illinois Fan.